All right, you guys, we got another trading week upon us. So welcome to this video. I'm going to be covering our news events that's going to be coming up, and really pay attention to Thursday. Thursday is going to be a rocky road, but I'm going to go over some other details, and then we're going to look at the charts. But I also want to thank everybody who wished my wife a happy birthday. She really enjoyed herself, and thank you guys very much for all the shout outs and stuff like that. All right, so let's get started. So let's start with the news for this week. There's not a lot that you need to worry about other than Thursday. And by the way, for those who want to know where I'm always checking the news, you can go to myfxbook.com and then click on economic calendar, which you can see right here. Once you click on there, you'll be able to go through the news events. And I always click on this week, and so I can get the full week of what's coming up. Okay. Normally on my spreadsheet, I'll put different things if there's a lot of different things throughout the entire week. But this week, it seems like we're going to have a kind of mild week on the news side. However, let's scroll down to Thursday. There's going to be a couple of red envelope ones. So, you do have to pay attention to that. But overall, not much. So let's take a look at this is Wednesday. See, this is how you know the days. Keep scrolling and you'll see that change, and there you go, Thursday. So on Thursday, you do have GBP coming out with a bunch of news. So you can write that down, so you can make sure. And this is where my little spreadsheet come in, where I put down, okay, GBP. And I know it's not on your camera, but GBP, and then I put the news event, and I just say lots of news, lots of news. Okay. And then I put it Thursday, and that's how it shows up on my spreadsheet, the one I show you guys every week. Now, the biggest one that I'm going to be worried about, if you scroll down, is right here, you guys. This is the Thursday news event. So on Thursday, for those who are trading the US dollar, you might want to be careful because on Thursday it's going to be a crap show. Okay. Just letting you guys know. And the biggest part of it is not the jobless claims exactly, because NFP came out last week with their numbers, but the bigger problem is going to be right here with the CPI, core inflation. What is it costing us under this Trump administration? Is it costing us more or less on our spending habits? For you guys who are into politics, I say absolutely nothing. For those who's not into politics and you just about your pockets, leave a comment below or shoot me an email, whatever. Let me know, have you seen any big change in your spending as far as expenses, or are they still the same no matter whether it was the Democrats or the Republicans? Have you actually seen a change in your spending? Because at the end of the day, when we're voting for a president and they're making all these promises, this is where the rubber meets the road under core inflation rates. Core inflation rates have to do with how much extra are you spending for the same goods and services that used to cost a whole lot less. So are you seeing a decrease in prices, or are you seeing an increase in prices? And so for those who are wanting to know my political perspective, this is why I don't really get into it, because whether Democrat or Republican, they all make promises, but when it's time for the news to come out, this is where you can actually find out whether this actually is making sense. Hey, according to this person's promise, is my expenses going down, or such as your car notes, your rent, your food bills, your gas? Are you seeing a drastic decrease in price, or are you still seeing it staying the same, or are you seeing an increase? So all that yakety yak that they're doing on stage as far as what they're going to do for the country, it all boils down to this right here, core inflation. And that's why this number matters so much to the in the economy, because this is telling the citizens of the United States how well they're improving under a particular leadership. So again, whether you're Republican or Democrat, that's up to you. Okay, you can still stay in the same camp. Me personally, I don't care about either one of them because they all make promises, but this is the number I'm looking at. Do I end up having to pay more because you're here, or do I pay less? Does that make sense? Okay. All right. So that's the main thing you're going to have to pay attention to, is the CPI report coming out on Thursday. And then Friday has retail news, and then PPI. Okay. So Thursday is CPI. This one is manufacturing numbers, PPI. Okay. PPI numbers. So this is going to cause some sparking going on in the markets. And again, you have more PPI reports and news coming out on Friday. So it looks like Thursday and Friday is going to be the problematic days. Okay, so that's that. Let's go over what we did as far as in the trading community. You've seen it in the thumbnails, but yeah, for those who are in my personal trading group, and I bring this over for you guys. Let's see if I can get this for you guys and make this bigger. Make it bigger, bigger, bigger. Oh, my head is kind of covering it. Oh, sorry, guys. Well, I guess we can't go over it, but um, in this report, I kind of track exactly what me and my team are doing. But overall, last week we had a 80% win rate in the Forex market. We had 2 losses and 8 wins for 349 pips. And for my personal trading group, where I send out alerts for my personal futures traders, because we used to trade the futures for the Asian session, but it was too inconvenient. Which is this worked out a whole lot better, to be honest with you guys, because I take trades day and night. It doesn't matter whether it's day or night. I don't always trade during the Asian session. So whenever I take my personal trades, I will send them out in an alert. And so far this week coming up, I'm sorry, the week that just passed, we had taken 6 total trades and we won all 6. We had a 100% win rate, no losses. So congrats on that. Oil and silver, there was 319 pips made. There was only 3 trades taken. 2 of them were big winners and 1 was a small loss. And then, of course, you see in the thumbnail, those who are trading live with Miss Jenny in the futures trading and during the New York session, they did over 300 and something points. So that was a tremendous success. So overall, we did as a team a very, very great job. So now let's get to what's coming up this week. All right. And that's going to be very important. What do we see in these here markets? So you guys know, for me, I love starting off on the 4-hour time frame, because the 4-hour kind of tells me the story of what's going on. And you also see that I don't trade 1,500 pairs. I started, scaling them down to the main ones that likes to trend okay. Most of them are not trending well at all, but you got to pick the best of the best from there. All right. And what happens is I probably audit this again, because I audit my list and kick out some pairs that was doing good, but now they're not doing good. And those who were doing bad, but now they're doing good. And, you just rotate them in and out based on the patterns. All right. So we're starting with AUD USD. AUD USD has been dropping like a rock, as you can clearly see, but now it's sitting on my level that I like to watch, which is the daily dot level. Okay. Now, this daily dot level does not guarantee that the price is going to bounce from here. So that's the reason why the arrow system comes into play. Simplicity sends out the arrows to let you know when it's the best time to get in. All right. So I do see that this is creating a higher low. So we can see that right here. If I was to draw a line, right there, you can see, just like the sexy analyst is showing the trend line. So price has created a higher low, okay, on the 4-hour time frame. So if we scale back and drop down to the 1 hour, we can see that the price is bouncing right off of this. If we scale down to the 30-minute, where if you're going to use the simplicity system and the arrow, you want to put the system to get an alert, or at least on the 15 or 30-minute. And you can see right here on the 15, it came in, it did do a pullback, which will happen to do this sometimes, okay? Especially if you're taking the trade before, I would say, 11 p.m. or 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It will migrate up and then do a pullback during the Asian session. That's what it typically does. That's why you always want to mark off your levels so that you can put your stop. So where would I have normally put my stop? It was going to be always right under that daily dot level. Okay, right there. So when it did this pullback, you have to deal with it. Sometimes price will go all the way up, and sometimes it's going to do like this one here. See, this one went up. Nice, nice, nice. Could have did a little scalp and you're out, but it pulled back and then shot on up. This one went instantly down. See, that's the problem with trading. We don't know. It's so schizophrenic. You don't know whether it's going to go instantly into profit, go up a while for profit, or whether it's going to pull back and then bounce. So that's the reason why you just got to put in your stop loss and cover your eyes and leave it alone. Okay. All right. So in this situation right here, we see that it did go up. The arrow came in, it did do a pullback, but eventually it retested and then it started shooting up. So again, I think that this thing has the power to continue back up. I will expect a pullback first, which is great because then it gives you a better option to hop in this at a better price. So I do expect this thing to do a pullback first, but overall for the week, I do believe that the AUD USD is going to be hopping upwards. All right, let's move forward to this one as well. Let's go to the 4-hour right here. Now, this one is already doing a drop, okay? It's doing a drop. What can happen now that it's sitting on this support level, okay? You see the daily dot, my daily dot indicator, and a strong 4-hour support level. That's what these gold levels are. They're 4-hour support levels. So you can see that this is saying, okay, this is a very strong support area. It has retested several times, and we can make this bigger so you guys can see it. So you can see that on the support level right here, it has went down, tested, came up, and still hasn't broken through. What can possibly happen here? What could possibly happen, it will either do a spring back up because it did drop hard, and then it's going to do a pullback back up here, and it could possibly stop right at this level if it's going to pull back and do a head and shoulders, because this will be the head, this will be the shoulders. But again, it looks like it already did that with here's a shoulder, and then you got your drop. So it could do a pullback and then it could migrate on down to the lower level. So me overall for the week, I do expect this thing to go down. It's just how far will the pullback happen? This is where, again, I would be waiting on the 15-minute time frame for a sell arrow. And once I get that sell arrow, either on the 15 or 30, then I will be looking for a sell for this on this week. All right, EuroCAD. EuroCAD is sad. EuroCAD is sad. I don't like it at all, so I'm going to keep it moving. EJ, and this might be one of those that I go ahead and remove out of the list because, when it's trending, it trends well. When it's not, it's not. But either way it goes, this one pulled back, and I think there's a lot of stuff going on with the Canadian dollar, so it's making it scream and holler. All right, so I don't see anything that makes it look worthwhile, except for if it pulls all the way back down in this range real strong, then yeah, you got my attention because as you can see, every time it comes into this range right here, bing, bing, it hops out like a frog. Okay. See that? Comes in, bounces out. Come in, bounces out. Come in, bounces out. So if you drop all the way in here, then I'll probably look for a buy opportunity on this. But immediately right now, I see absolutely nothing. Okay. All right, let's move on to the next one. EJ. EJ is interesting because, again, just like all the other JPY pairs that dropped this week, this one also dropped. And then it's immediately hit support, see this daily dot, and bounce right out of there. So what do I expect? I expect it to pull back up and do a retest either to this level here, and I'm going to mark it off. And this would create a head and shoulders. It would be the head, shoulder, and this will be the shoulder. So if this comes all the way back up and pulls back up and stops right here, that'd be a good place, but it would be even better if it comes all the way up here and retest this level up here, and then I will really, really sell this off. Either way it goes, I'm looking for a sell on EJ this week, all right? And so that's where the scanner comes in. So I'm looking for this. See, EJ, I'm going to be looking for a sale alert. And once I see that sale come in, then I'm going to be selling this thing off. All right, let's keep it going. All right, Euro USD popped up. See, it hit that support. It hit that support. Hit the support. See that bottom trend line? Boom, 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 boom. Hit that support. You see the little gold back here? And I'll make it a little bit bigger, see if y'all can see that. Bing, bing, bing. See them little gold dots up in there? That's part of my sexy analyst system. So it hit the 4-hour supports, hit my daily dot, and once it hit there, then you got your nice little bounce up out of there, and that thing was a cool little bouncer. Here was the arrow right there to say buy on the 15-minute, and that thing shot right on up. However, right now, what do I expect? It's already in the pushed up. I wouldn't get into this until I see a pullback. So I'm looking for immediately for this market to sell back down somewhere. And if it does, and then I get another buy arrow, then I would copy in for a continuation to the upside. Other than that, I'm not looking to do anything. And on the daily, you can see the trend line right here, my outer trend lines, and that's part of the sexy analyst system. Right here, you see it hit on that support and bounced out. So it looks like it has plenty of running room to the upside. But again, I'm going to be looking for a pullback first on euro dollar before I actually am interested in anything with it. Now, keep in mind that on Thursday and Friday, there's going to be some shaking and rattling going on. So Just keep that in mind if you're going to be trading euro dollar, okay, or any of the dollar pieces. All right, so again, here we go. This is what I'm talking about. I love it when it hits the support levels, but this is what I was trying to tell you guys. This is why you got to be careful, because something happened that pushed price. You can see right here, this was the 4-hour support level, which it typically respects it, but it pushed through this level, which is good. That's a good deal, and I'm going to tell you why. Because it tells me that this thing is completely out of balance. Here you see on the daily level, here it is, where it should have stopped up at this level and pulled back down. So they did a nice liquidity sweep or stop hunt, or whatever you want to call it. But overall, here's what I'm looking for this week. I'm looking for this thing to drop right back into balance where it belongs. It's out of balance. This is where it should have stopped. And let me bring this line down just a little bit more. Right here is where it should have stopped, but it broke through there, and you can see right here, it looks like it should be coming back down. So I'm going to be looking for a sell on this pair this week, but I'm going to be looking for what? The arrow. Oh, and we got an arrow on Friday. Oh, look at that. Oh, that thing was 36 pips, but I'm looking for it to pull back up first and then hop back in. Because slant patterns, you know me, slant patterns always pop up. When it slants to the side, it pops up. See, like here, right here, slant, pop up, slant to the side, pops up, slant to the side. So I'm expecting a pop up first. So I'm expecting a continuation to the upside first on this pair. And then if it does that, I will look to short this thing this week or sell. Okay, GCAT is not anything worthwhile right now. I don't see anything that I would be interested in. Oh, now again, here we go. See how this thing shot all the way back up? Stop. Boom, 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 broke through. So when it's breaking through major levels like this, just so you guys know, when you see it breaking through major levels like this, that's a news event. Something happened with the currency. So again, this thing could retest and push to the upside and even retest this level, which would really be nice if it does. If it does, then I'm looking to go short on this sometime this week. Okay. So that is a knee-jerk reaction. It was pushing, pushing, pushing. Cushion for the pushing, baby. So I'm looking for this thing to go up and retest this level somewhere up in this range. If it does, I will be looking for opportunities to short. And again, that's where the scanner comes in. When it sends me an arrow on the 15-minute, I will be looking to go ahead and sell on that. All right, let's go to GU. GU, what do you do? GU. Ooh, ooh. All right, see how it hitting that support? See that trend line? Forest, boom, boom, boom. Price action is respecting the 4-hour trend lines. And again, guys, if you don't want to draw trend lines and all that stuff, I highly suggest getting a sexy analyst. You can see I got my Fibonacci levels right back up in here. You can change the colors to whatever you want. I make it in a dull gray or dull green, so it's kind of faded in the background, but I can still see it there. I got my support and resistance lines. I got my supply and demand zone levels, and you can change those colors to whatever you want. But I got all that pre-built into the system because I got tired of drawing up my trend lines. Then when you go to a different time zone, you got to redo this. See, look at how crisp and clean that is. Yeah, crisp and clean. So right here, when it was in a buy opportunity, here it was on the 30-minute. How clean is that? Here's on the 15-minute. How clean is that? That's the same thing where you saw, okay, here's a opportunity right here. That's what you saw, okay? That's why I do it the way I do. Now it's automated. I don't have to think. I just wait for the arrow. And when it came in, look at this. From here to here, that was 140 pips. See, buying it off the bottoms. Buying it off the bottoms. Just respecting the trend line, hidden support, wait for your arrow, and there you go. All right, let's go to the next one. Now, this is NZD CHF. Okay, this is from the 4-hour. It looks like it can come down and touch down. All right, so let's find where the trend line is. The trend line is down here. So it can either hit this support level, which is already sitting somewhat in there, or can break down and touch the lower trend line. Either way it goes, on the first beginning, I'm not looking for reversals. I'm looking for continuations to the downside. Okay, so in the beginning of the week, the trading week, it typically always goes to the downside first. Or continuation. So since the trend is heading down, it may gap down to the bottom. Either way it goes, It will be a nice opportunity for a sell. For a buy, but I just have to wait for an arrow. And in these situations where I'm not sure, the 30-minute may be a better option for you to wait for the 30-minute arrow just to make absolutely sure the market is ready. Now, we did have a buy arrow right here, but again, it was due to a news event. And how do I know a news event? Because look at how large that candle is. When you see a large candle like this, it's nothing more than a news event that took place, and that's exactly what happened. So it's still in the buyer's zone. We just have to see whether the price is going to break through this buyer zone and then turn around, or whether it's going to continue. And again, this is where it happened. The arrow system comes into play along with the scanner so that you can just simply wait for the alert and let the market come to you, not you trying to chase it. All right. NZD, USD. Okay. So NZD USD, let's go to this. This is the 30-minute time frame. You can see the W pattern off the bottom, but it did break through, but it's still hovering around the daily and 4-hour support level. That's what those lines are. Okay. So again, this one is in a breakdown situation. So it can either stop here, or whatever news forced it to drop like that on the NZD, it's going to push it and break through this level even further. Either way it goes, somehow, sometime this week, I will be preparing a bounce and a turnaround for a buy opportunity on the NZD USD. But I have to wait for the arrow because I don't want to hop in too soon, and then this thing may push through and continue and fall. Because again, I don't know what news event caused it, but the NZD has been weak overall. It has been dropping. And part of that is because of their interest rates and so forth and so forth. So overall, you can see it is in the downtrend on the daily. And therefore, even on the 4-hour, you can see it's been in a constant daily. So I cannot say for a fact that this is going to be the bottom. I don't want to be the first one to jump to it. So this is where patience is going to come in. And when the market gives a buy arrow, then I will go ahead and buy. Okay, when my system gives me a buy arrow. All right, USD Swiss, nice drop on Friday. That was pretty nice one. See, watch this. See that arrow? You're waiting. When it's in your range, when it's in your batter's box, when you say, I think this thing is going to turn around, this is why you wait for an arrow. Wait for an arrow. Wait for an arrow, because then it will tell you when the best time to enter. What do I think may happen on this pair? It is sitting at the average daily low from last week. So what can possibly happen on this pair is right here. We're looking right here. Okay, so we're going to draw where it stopped. We see, okay, this was prior resistance. We see this candle here, but we see price hovering around there. We see it's respected back here, respected back here. So that's why it stopped on the dime. What can possibly happen? This thing can bounce back to the upside a bit and then continue down. But again, guys, we have to be very, very careful when we're trading this US dollar, because Thursday and Friday's news. But again, you can see the arrow said, okay, it's time to buy in that range. So what may happen? Well, the market likes to continue from where it left off. Now, again, all this is before the market opens, so it could gap in any direction. But for me, if there was anything, since it dropped so hard, I'm looking for a buy opportunity on the on the USD Swiss. CHF, it's not chief, it's the Swiss franc, okay? CHF. All right, so I'm looking for a buy on that one on the pullback play. Let's take a look. Now, if it continues and goes through, that's cool. But me personally, I would look for, if this thing is going to continue down, I'm still expecting and hoping for a pullback first. And then you hop in and there you go and ride it on down to the sunset. Okay. So for an example, on quick drops, here's another example. Let's take a look at this right here. Okay, I'm going to show you a good example. See how price dropped real hard? What was the first thing that happened? You see right here, it jumped back up first. Then you got another arrow to say sell, and then it continued. So on immediate drop, hard drops in one day, I don't like to trade continuations, me personally. I like to wait for a pullback first somewhere, a pullback. Then I get a sell arrow and ride this thing on down after the pullback, okay? All right, so USD CAD, same thing. See, this is news events. So that means that this was pushed down very, very quickly because of news. So investors tend to buy the dip. They buy the dip, okay, to buy the dip. So since this pushed down so hard, I'm hoping for a buy and a pullback first. And once the pullback has happened, then if this is truly going to be in a downtrend, which I think it will be, then I'm expecting this thing to slowly go down after the pullback. But I would not be trying to sell right here. I'll wait for a pullback first, and then on the pullback, then I ride it down, okay? So bottom line is it looks like the dollar is weakening. Now, here's a good one. Here's what I'm talking about. So right here, and let's check the 4 hour, the daily. All right, so I'm gonna mark up this level so you can see the daily. This is what I'm talking about right here. Okay, bing, bing. And let's just draw that box right there. Bing, bing. Let's go to the 4 hour. Bing, bing. See, you see how this is over here is a shoulder. You got your head. See this pullback? I'm expecting more pullback. That'd be nice. Pull back up further. Okay, pull back. Try to fake everybody out and say, hey, this is where the trend is going to end. All right, this right here is saying, okay, look, I'm gonna pull back up, fake people in, draw them in, and then let the bottom drop out. This is why you want to wait. I'm expecting a pullback first. I like this one better than the rest because right here it already showed me, even from the daily, that this is the defense line where price tried to break 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, 4 days, 5 days, 6 days. 6 days you tried to break through this upper level. 6 days in a row from the daily time frame. 6 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So this tells me this is what I want to see. You have tried to make this higher in 6 days and you could not. Therefore, this is truly now looking like it's going to be a change of trend direction. So what happens first? After the initial drop, there's a pullback first. And after the pullback, I'm waiting for a sell arrow. Once you give me that sell arrow, then I can write this thing down comfortably because I know as long as I put my stop above this level where you struggled so many times, above this level. So I'm going to put my stop right above this zone, this simplicity, I'm sorry, the supply and demand zone, which come with the sexy analyst. I'm going to put my stop right above that level, which is going to be, watch this, right here. Put my stop right above that level. Anytime you pull back, whenever I hop in, I'm going to put it right above that level because why? The likelihood of you doing a liquidity sweep after you not being able to accomplish that on the daily time frame 6 times in a row, chances of you doing it, very slim to none. Now, I still want to put a stop loss. Why? Because the market can do anything. Anything can happen. But for me personally, I think this would be the best option for the week. It's the US dollar, USD versus the JPY. I think that would be my golden trade for me this week, is to keep an eye on that one. And again, if you want to be copied on our trades, just go to supereasyforex.com and click on the copycat. If you want to get my personal alerts for the futures market, then go to supereasyforex.com and click on futures and sign up for the Asian session. If you want to trade live during the New York session, you want to click on the futures session and sign up for the for the New York. And again, we have other services. If you want to trade on your own and just use my trading systems, then that's also on the website, supereasyforex.com. All right, let's go to gold, and this will be the last one. Gold, I don't trust this at all. All right, now let me tell you why I don't trust gold. First of all, gold is an emotional currency. And I was talking to a lady who trades in the options market, and we were swapping knowledge. So she completely understands options, and I understand these markets. So we just collaborating on possibly swapping ideas and sharing, sharing and caring. So the point is that I was telling her that I don't really trust gold. Why? Number one, let's look at the range. It's in this range right here. You can see from here and in this range, it's just there. Now, if I was to slide this over a little bit more for clarification, okay, for clarification, I know a lot of people love trading gold. I get it. You love your favorite until your favorite ain't your favorite. You can see this thing is really just doing a chop fest. It's not really going anywhere. It's going sideways, okay? Now, here's the good news. What would I personally do long term on this? I'm going to be a seller. Why would I be a seller of gold? All right, I'll tell you why. Now, there's a catch to it, okay? And I'm going to mark this. There's a little catch to it. Bing. Y'all should see it already. I don't like trading slant patterns like that. I don't like going further down on the slant pattern. And what do I mean by a slant pattern? All right, let's take a look. Here we go. It goes up, slants down, pops up. Goes up, slants down, pops up. Goes down, pops up. Goes down, pop up. Slant patterns always pop up. Slant down, pop up. Slant down, pop up. So where is this thing actually going? It's anybody's guess because right here it's in consolidation. So is this bounce going to continue to the upside and fill up some more of this area right here? Because, it's in a slant pattern with a gap there. Okay. And they call them fair value guy. I don't know what that stuff is, but y'all, I don't get into all those different new sayings. They come up with new stuff that repeats the same saying. Bottom line is, I've been telling y'all for years, slant patterns always pop up. This is a hard slant and it's sitting steady on the support level, so it could push up further and retest this level right here. Okay, that's what I do see. We go to the daily, and you guys can kind of see it even more right here. This is what I'm talking about: hard slant sitting on support, and it's just migrating sideways. So it's in a sideways choppy pattern. So in my opinion, when you're seeing these sideways chop, chop, chop patterns, it's not best to trade it. It's sometimes just best to wait it out, see whether it pushes up higher or not. Now, if I had to choose and you say, okay, Uncle P, you have to choose. All right, well, then what I would do is I would draw a trend line, and let me do it better, do it closer right here. Bing. And of course, this is just a weekend. Okay. So right here, this is where I would draw my trend line and say, okay, if I had to choose which direction it was going to be, I would say buy to the upside, pushing back up, because as you can see, here was a low, here was a low. So if we was to draw it across this way, we can clearly see that it is creating a what? Higher low. Okay. Higher lows. So if I was to do just like that, here it comes, bing, it's touched. And let me move this out the way. Okay, let's move that right there. All right, so it came down, went up, came down, but this low point is higher than this one. Went up, came back down. Now this low point is higher than this one and higher than this one. So what may happen, it may come back and retest this trend line and then bounce and continue up even further. Either way it goes, I will wait for a pullback to this trend line level, which would put you at roughly 3967.86, 3967.86, 3967.86. It would pull any kind of pullback first and then a bounce to show that it's respecting this trend line or it's going to break through it. One of the two. It has to make a decision. But right now, when it's in the sideways thing, I'm not looking for nothing. All right, you guys. Hopefully this information was helpful to you. And again, you can always go to our website, supereasyforex.com, for any of our services. And I look forward to success again this week. And thank you guys again for the birthday wishes. And we'll talk to you.